Guys, I'm just going to talk a few more minutes about the flood and what happened. This is Donna of Sparrowstudios7 finishing my thought about Genesis 5 and the commentary surrounding it. So, the thing that I wanted to mention, Feeny, no. You see somebody outside. I'm just gonna ignore him. So, the thing that I wanted to mention was people are not taken a lot in the Bible. And so we see that all of this is a foreshadowing to not only God bringing hope to Israel and the Israelite nation before it even is a thing, and because Abraham is the start of the Israelite nation, and we haven't even gotten to him yet. But it also foreshadows how God is going to deal with the corruption and the sin that started with Eve eating the fruit, Adam eating the fruit, and Satan and all of them getting kicked out of Eden, continuing with the murder of Abel by Cain, Adam's son, and all the generations after that. Now, I will note that I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. It is a touchy subject and something that I try to be very careful with when we talk about the sins of the father. We see in the Bible how God sometimes blesses one line of generation and how others choose other lines from the same family choose sin. However, we'll see in the New Testament where Jesus makes it very clear with a story that we'll talk about a blind man who was born blind and did not have any connection to sin in his family, because we're all born into sin. That's biblical. So each person's sin is their own. And so I'm not saying that anyone in Cain's line could not have made good choices and followed God. They could have returned from Cain's city and done marvelous things for God this time. We don't know. But in this biblical record, it is clear that 7 generations of one, there's more murder. 7 generations of the other, someone walks so closely with God that they don't die and they just get taken up to heaven to be with God. So I do think it's significant to recognize the two lines and what happened for that, while also acknowledging that children do not have to take on the sins of their fathers. They can change and grow and be better. I also want to make a note about verse 28 and 29 from the Bible. I think this is pretty cool from my Bible. As with Enoch, the normal genealogical formula is interrupted to highlight important theological information about Noah. Noah sounds like the Hebrew Nachum, relief or comfort, and Nuach, rest, as the first person born after Adam's death. See the note on 5:5. So it says death. That note says death indeed came to Adam and his descendants, and Cain's violence is omitted, and key figures in Seth's line live in hope. Noah prompted his father Lamech to hope that the curse brought by Adam's sin might be lifted. And we see that sin in chapter 3:17, where he ate the apple. We also see references to this in chapter 8, verse 21, 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 3-7, and 2 Thessalonians 2:16 through 17. So at the end of the day, and I'll probably say this pretty much at the end of every commentary, what we often see in the Bible is great information being given out, both about the depravity of the world and how sin has infected everyone, but also we see a mirror of God's hope and His grace and His love for humanity. He starts with the bad and He moves into the good. And I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow about Noah and him being the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Thank you guys for listening to the third video today. I thank Tafini for being quiet for this one, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night. God bless.